I'm at the Media Cafe here at Broadcasting House, and I am joined by the Acting Director General of the BBC, Tim Davie. Mr Davie, you've now had the report into what on earth went wrong at Newsnight 10 days ago. What does it say, and who's going to carry the can?
I think it says two things, actually, that there was a degree of complexity in the news organisation which led to some fuzzy decision making. It also says that there was some journalistic errors which, George Entwistle and others have...
Well, very significant journalistic errors. I mean, they were effectively libelling a very senior Conservative politician.
Absolutely, and, we've apologised unreservedly. As you know, this organisation has lost a very good Director General, and we've had a honourable man leave the BBC. My job now, by the way, is to get grip of the situation and take action.
Well, come on. Well, what action are you going to take with regards to Newsnight? Because the general public will be saying this was an appalling incident, it's damaged trust in BBC journalism. Someone has to take responsibility.
Well, absolutely, and there's two things I've done. The first is we have appointed a new editor of Newsnight to get a grip of the situation, and that's what I've been really focused on, which is to put a clear line of command into news so that we build the trust of the BBC. Separately, I need a bit of time. I've just come into the job, and I'm going to take a bit of time to look through the recommendations, and then we'll take a disciplinary process through and be fair to those individuals.
So no one's going to be disciplined yet?
Not as we speak today. What I've done is, just into the job, I've got full grip of the situation by clarifying exactly who's in charge, which, by the way, was a key learning from the report. If the public are going to get journalism they trust from the BBC, I have to be, as Director General, very clear on who's running the news operation and ensuring that journalism that we put out passes muster. The first decision I've made is to get a grip of that, take action and build trust by putting a clear line of command in. Separately, we are going to look at the individual process, and there may be disciplinary action. But I want to be fair to people. I don't subscribe to the view that you should act very quickly in that regard and be unreasonable. I also want to say that the BBC has lost a Director General in this process. That in itself is very significant, and he has taken responsibility.
Well, let me ask you about the Director General. He's left, but he's left with a payoff of £450,000. How is that going to restore confidence in the BBC?
Well, I think that one is a matter for the BBC Trust. It's not a decision for the Director General.
No, but did you think it was a good idea?
Well, as I say, I'm going to leave that as a matter for the BBC Trust. I think it's
I'm sure they must have asked your view. Did you ever say to them, look, actually, I really don't think this is sensible. I'm trying to rebuild trust and confidence in the BBC. You give this guy 450
Mark,
grand.
in terms of getting a grip of the organisation and having just come into the job, I have to work on what I can control and get the output of the BBC, 99% of which is still going on as we speak. It's of the highest quality.
But did you say to the Trust, this is a disastrous idea, it will go down like a lead balloon with the British
I've been
public?
very clear, that is a matter for the Trust. It is not my decision in terms of that payoff for a Director General, an outgoing Director General. I have a job to do. Get a grip of the situation. The BBC deserves strong leadership. That's what I want to bring.
How much danger is the corporation in right now, would you say?
Well, I think it has been a very difficult episode, and the BBC is all about trust. The BBC needs to be trusted. If we haven't got that, we haven't got anything. And what I've done over the last day, and it's been a busy day, Mark, is I have focused on creating a simple chain of command in news, worked on how I can get assurances as the man in charge that the output we have is fully trustworthy. That has worked in the past, and actually I would like to get through the debates on Newsnight and all the other things and get to the real issues. I do think it's right that, we've had some really difficult allegations with regard to Jimmy Savile and the historic abuse. I think those commentators who have said, let's not let current events overtake that, the importance of that.
Because whatever problems the BBC might be going through, of course, we are dealing with the victims of child sexual abuse at the heart of this.
Absolutely right. And I think as the man in charge, I now need to get a grip of Newsnight, all the other situations. So actually, we, as the BBC, and as part of a broader institutional effort, focus on that, which I think is the bigger issue.